We are gathering around the table with Zachary King. For those of you who may not know Zachary, could you share a little bit about yourself and where are you from?
I am originally from Florida, Southwest Florida. Uh, Currently, I live in Wichita, Kansas. I got started when I was 10 years old, practicing magic. That's magic with a K, satanic magic. I performed my first ritualistic abortion at 14. I officially joined the coven at 13. I graduated from high school and started going to another coven, became a high wizard at 21, worked with the Illuminati for 12 years, escaped from Satanism, and had a woman hand me something in a mall that converted me to the Catholic Church. And now here I am talking to you. That's me in a very brief nutshell.
Well, I'm from Chicago and we have Chicago style hot dogs or Chicago style pizza. Is Kansas known for any food? Do you guys have any comfort food?
Steak.
Steak? Nice.
Steak.
That's so
Although
nice.
you're a hot dog, you have those two hot dog restaurants that compete, and those places are amazing.
And then
And
we were
I
just
don't
talking
remember
about
the
Italy too and the tuna pizza with the cream cheese. So that's not Chicago, but
I was in Chicago, the Chicago area, in 2016, 2011 for the first time. And they took me to one of the pizza places. And then they took me to the hot dog place. And then they took me to the other one. And my favorite one was the one that has the chocolate shake, the chocolate cake milkshake.
oh, is it Portillo's?
I think it's Portillo's, yeah. Clearly bad for me, but amazing. I mean,
Right,
if you're going to
exactly.
be diabetic, you might as well go there.
Well, what is Satanism and how did you get involved in this?
Satanism, to me, it's not an actual religion because a real religion worships and loves God. And Satanism doesn't do that. Regardless of whether they're atheistic or theistic, either way, they're not worshiping and loving God. They're not adoring Jesus. They don't have devotion to saints, the Blessed Mother. And all of that goes against what they believe. And they believe in worshiping a creature of God. It's like when God made the trees, they're going to go out there and worship a tree. It's like, why would you worship what God made instead of worshiping God Himself? So to me, they're worshiping Lucifer if they're atheistic, and if they're theistic, they're worshiping Satan. And none of that gives devotion or credence or love to God. So, not a real religion, but there are a lot of non real religions out there. Like the Druids, they worship trees and nature. Wiccans, they worship nature. Still not a religion, but those are the things that they do. In Satanism, you worship the fallen angel and all of his minions, and you do destructive things towards God. Like the Satanic Temple protested the Catholic Church one year by stealing a Mary statue and smashing it on Christmas. Now, that's clearly an attack on the Catholic Church, since no other church has Marian statues. But, and they do a black mass, which is a mockery of a Catholic mass. But for them to be able to do that, they have to steal a consecrated host. Now, here it is, they claim they don't believe in God and they don't believe in Satan, but they know that the host is consecrated and they can't have a black mass without a consecrated host to desecrate, which seems kind of contradictory that they say they don't believe in God or Satan, and yet they steal a consecrated host.
Are they stealing it? Like, why are they? They're stealing it because they know it's God, right? Or they know it's.
They say they steal it because they know that we hold it in reverence and that
And
we believe it's God.
so it's mockery.
But
They're purposely trying to mock it.
yes, they're mocking it, but they can tell if it's been consecrated. It's like, why don't I asked a group of Catholics once and said, okay, let's take stealing off the table. Let's say stealing and lying completely off the table. What would be wrong with buying a $400 suborn, buying a $10 box of unconsecrated wafers, pouring them in the suborum, and going to the satanic group and saying, I know you guys buy these things up to $15,000 each. I'll sell you this suborum filled with 100 of them for $100,000. So they'll be $1,000 each instead of $15,000 each, you're saving $1.4 million. What would stop them from buying that? Because they could reach in there and feel that they're not consecrated. Even though you're not saying you got them from a church, you're just saying they're consecrated. They're not getting it from a church, and yet they know it's not consecrated. And how they know that is because they know when they touch a consecrated one, it makes them sick, or it makes them angry, or they feel extreme hatred, because God is pure love. And a Satanist has never experienced pure love. He doesn't know what that is, but he knows it makes him mad. He knows it makes him sick. And they know that if that unconsecrated host hasn't been consecrated, it's not doing anything to them. So they know you're lying about it.
That's crazy. That's so interesting.
Yeah, it's funny. The only 1/3. No, is it 1/3? It's what is the number? 15% of Catholics believe in the true presence.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up.
Now, no Protestant believes in the true presence, but 100% Satan believes in the true presence. The demons believe in the true presence. And the Satanic Temple, who claims to be atheistic and doesn't believe in God, will only do a black mass if they have a consecrated host, which is odd. You don't believe in God, you don't believe in Satan, but you know my host is consecrated. That is so bizarre. Now, going in that same train of thought, though, about the consecrated versus unconsecrated, I've heard Protestant pastors say that anybody that believes in Jesus is going to heaven. And I was on an interview with a Protestant, and I said, "That's not true." And he goes, "Oh yeah, it is. You're speaking blasphemy now." I said, "Really?" I said, "What about demons? What about Satan? They both know that Jesus is real, and they both believe in Jesus, and they're both going to hell." And then I guess no one had ever said that to him because he didn't know what to say from that. Oh, the Protestants.
How did you become Catholic? What led you to the Catholic Church from Satanism to Catholicism?
I had escaped out of Satanism, and I was pretty much paranoid that I would be found by Satanists. And so I was avoiding belonging to any cult. And I was a general manager of a piercing pagoda in the mall. We had the biggest kiosk in the mall. And this woman come up to buy a pair of gold tube earrings. And I presented her with a pair that she just described. And I'm about to close the deal. And she goes, actually, I'm shopping with my daughter. When I'm done, I'll come back and I'll buy these. And at that time, I've been a retail manager for a while. I know that when women say that, what they mean is, I'm going to go find it cheaper someplace else and you'll never see me again. But she had an honest face. I knew she was coming back. And I held the earrings up by the register. 3 hours later, she came back and we did the transaction. And then at the end of that, we had a promotion at that time. If you call the 1-800 number on the receipt and take a survey, you might win $1,000. And I told her about that, handed her the receipt, and she says, "That's great. I've got something for you too." And I thought, oh my gosh, she's going to pull out a Jack Chick pamphlet, tell me that I'm sinning, and drop to my knees and beg for forgiveness. All this stuff I can't do because I sold my soul to the devil when I was 13. And instead, she pulls out this cheap gold-colored piece of tin, little bitty tiny thing. And then she says the weirdest thing I've ever heard. Now, remember that I partied with rock stars. I made about 1,200 rock stars in 12 years. And if you give somebody that can write poems and songs, unlimited alcohol and drugs, they will say some strange stuff. My example for that is like the number one song of either 98 or 99 was Bow to Bob by Kid Rock. And sometimes your breakout song is the best song you ever have. Like, he's had a bunch of songs. He's had a bunch of top 10 songs, a bunch of top 20 songs. All of his songs have entered the top 100. But his breakout song, Bow to Bob, hit number one and stayed there. It was like the number one song and the number one video of the year. And everybody loved that song. But the chorus of that song is bow to ba, to dang, diggy diggy, up jumps the boogie. And it's like, that's the best you got? That's the song that we all made #1, was hearing bow to ba, the dang to dang, over and over again all day long. What this woman said to me was weirder than that. She said, "The Blessed Mother's calling you into her army." And I thought, Blessed Mother, Isis, Gaia? And then she said, it's very powerful. Protestants don't bless anything. So this woman represents some female deity cult. I'm not really interested in that cult, because what if I join so many cults, so many covens all around the world are connected, and a lot of them don't even know they're connected. So what if I join her coven and they're connected to my first or second coven, and then I'm found out again? I've been discovered. I don't want to join whatever that is. But, I'll listen to her because she bought my gold. I have her money. This was win-win for the two of us. I don't want to upset her. I don't want her to get a refund. So she tells me it's very powerful, and I'm just, not believing this. Whatever's happening is happening. And I go ahead and I stick my hand out for it. And she's all giddy like a little schoolgirl because she's excited I'm willing to take it. Now, my thoughts are, because she's saying it's very powerful. No, 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 no. I was the high wizard. So I'm going to take it in my hand. I'm going to squeeze my fist around it. And I'm going to be able to tell her this has no power. There's no mystique to this. I'm going to either toss it on my floor or slam it on my counter. And I'm going to tell her this has nothing. This can do nothing to me. And if she gets upset and decides she wants her money back, well, at this point, this is fine with me because she's insulting me. And, if she gets upset and wants to call my regional, I'll let her do that. My regional is never going to believe that I insulted somebody to their face. So my hand is out. I'm all ready for it. She drops it in my hand. I squeeze this metal, all ready to tell her these things, except when I squeeze the metal, my mall and my store completely disappear. I'm standing in this darkened void with this woman, Marianne Wickman, who gave me the metal, and she tells me about the magic spell I did last night, and that's of the devil. And I've split over 100 churches, and that's of the devil. And I've committed over 100 abortions, and that's of the devil. And when I first went here, I wanted to hit her with a magic burst and knock her back, attack her. But at this point, I realize she'll destroy me. Like, there's generally between 2 and 5 high wizards in the world at any given time. That number could be as low as 1 or as high as 10. I did not have the magical ability to hand somebody a worthless gold-colored piece of tin, transport both of us to a darkened void, and know all of their sins. Her magic is stronger than mine. I'm terrified of this woman. I don't know what to do. And she keeps going on and on, telling me all the sins that I've committed, all the major sins of my life. And I don't know what to do. I am terrified of this woman. And she says again, the Blessed Mother is calling you into her army. And instantly, I knew that was the Mother of God. And when I knew it was the Mother of God, Mary showed up. She took me by the hand and she turned me around. Divine Mercy Jesus was standing behind me. I didn't know what Divine Mercy was. I just had these rays of light shooting out of his heart, and they were going around me and over me and through me. And in that instant, I realized I did not sell my soul to the devil when I was 13. I realized that Jesus Christ was my Lord and Savior. I realized that all my magic, my occult, my New Age, and my Satanism was false, and everything Catholic is truth. And the Blessed Mother told me my job was to help her end abortion. And I opened my hand. I'm back in my store, back in my mall. This woman, Marianne Wickman, is still talking to me. And she tells me that she works for Father Joseph Whalen in the St. Raphael Healing Oil Ministry, that he's the busiest priest she knows. He's so busy, he doesn't even have time to talk to her. While she's talking to me, her cell phone rings. She looks down. She goes, this is Father Joe. I've got to take it. I was like, oh, yeah, you just explained all that. Go ahead. So she answers the phone. At that time, Father Joe was starting to go deaf. So he talked like everybody else was going deaf. So I could hear everything he said. And she answers the phone. She goes, hello, Father Joe. Can you hand the phone to the young man you're talking to? Certainly, Father Joe. So she hands the phone to me. I'm shaking like Ozzy Osbourne. I'm like, hello? Welcome to the faith. Hand the phone back to Marianne. So I hand the phone back to her, and he hangs up on her. Then her daughter comes up to the counter. She says, would you bring this man one of each of everything from the truck? So the daughter runs outside. Then we got two more phone calls from two other people similar to that one. And then her daughter comes in with a paper grocery bag filled with pamphlets. Why do Catholics believe this or do that? A Catholic Bible, and like 125 Lighthouse Catholic media discs. And then after work that day, I went home and opened my front door, and my ex-wife, she was my newly, we'd only been married for like 3 months at that time. She was doing the dishes, and I opened the door. She was a disfellowship Jehovah's Witness, and I opened the door and I said, hey, honey, guess what? I'm Catholic now. She was not happy because in the Jehovah's Witness world, Catholics are the mortal enemies. And she was like, of all the things you could possibly be, why would you do that? But the very next day, I started going to daily mass, and she supported me. She went there with me. And at the consecration, I saw Jesus. And I thought, this is the greatest secret for me of all time. Had I known as a child that Jesus was legitimately in the Catholic Church, I'd have been there every day. You'd have to drug me out. And I looked at my wife. I said, you see that? She's like, what? I said, that man up there on the stage. She said, that's the priest. I said, no, the other guy. She goes, I don't see anything. I said, you don't see it because you're not Catholic. I assumed everybody in that room saw what I saw. I just thought if you were Catholic, you saw that. And then I found out that nobody else in that room saw that. And then I found out there was a place called Perpetual Adoration where I could go anytime I wanted and see Jesus. And I was like, is there a sign-up sheet for that? Is there like, I have to sign my name up now, and then in like 6 months, I'll get a call and they'll tell me my 4-hour block of window is this day, this time. And if I miss it, I can't try again for 6 years, And she's like, no, you just go. Like, there's no way. There's a line to get in to see Elvis, and he's been dead over 40 years. So we go. Shock number one, we're the only other car in the parking lot. Shock number two, there's no line to get in. Shock number three, we open the chapel door. It's me, my ex-wife, Jesus, and some woman. She looks up like a deer in the headlights and then packs her stuff as fast as she can go. And she says, you can't leave till someone else comes in. And bam, she's out the door. And I thought, why would I leave? I'm in a room with God. That became my normal hangout. I was there every day, anywhere from 30 minutes to 18 hours. And it was a wonderful experience. St. Raphael was looking for me as spiritual director at that time, and they found Father Anthony Gramley. At that time, he was the rector for the National Shrine of Divine Mercy in Stockbridge, Massachusetts. And he told me I at least needed a deliverance and I might need an exorcism. So I went back to my priest, Monsignor LaValle, and he did a deliverance prayer over me. And I thought I would be fine. But at that time, I didn't realize I had satanic gifts. And after that deliverance, they were all gone. And I was given the miraculous medal in January of 08. And I officially came into the church in May of 08. And since then, I have spoken at around 250 conferences and done almost 300 interviews.
That's amazing. I love that adoration story too. Jesus just shows up and stares at you lovingly. It's incredible.
It's an amazing experience. There's a story from, I think it's Africa, and it was a priest that rescued a bunch of children that were being trafficked. And these kids are like no longer virgins, and they were injured like mentally, physically, sexually, psychologically, emotionally, every possible way you can hurt a child. They were injured in that way. And he thought the best way to heal these children is to bring them with me every day to adoration. And that's what we'll do. We're going to sit in front of Jesus for hours at a time. And that's what he did. And now that this was, I think, a few years ago, he said probably in about a year's time, they were no longer damaged in any way. Even, I think, the girls that lost their virginity regained their virginity, which is an incredible story.
Did you know Mary or the Blessed Virgin Mary before this event happened to you in the mall?
In the Baptist church, Mary gave birth to Jesus. We never heard about Jesus, Mary, and Joseph fleeing to Egypt, and we never heard about the wedding at Cana as being Jesus' first miracle because Jesus turned water to wine,
Right.
and the Baptist church are not allowed to drink alcohol. So I didn't hear that story until I was Catholic, and I was shocked that that was his first miracle because the Baptist church never spoke about that. It was a non-issue, it was a non-miracle. But we never heard of any story regarding Mary except the virgin birth, because in the Baptist church, that's the only thing she does. It's the only thing she's known for. So I didn't have any type of relationship with Mary.
That's why it was a big shock for you when you saw her and you were like, who is this person trying to take me into her army?
Well, being heard, the Blessed Mother is calling you into her army. I didn't know who the Blessed Mother was. Like I said, my guesses were, Isis, Gaia. We didn't have any title. The only name we had was Mary. And you're telling me the Blessed Mother, who could that be? And I'm guessing Gaia, because that's Mother Earth. And you're saying Blessed Mother, I'm thinking Mother Earth. I was a Satanist, so it didn't make any sense to me. The titles didn't make any sense to me. And even when I realized it was the Mother of God, in some of my talks, I say, Mother of God is like the strangest revelation for a former Baptist. We would rather shoot ourselves in the face with a shotgun than say Mother of God.
And I'm assuming you didn't know who the Divine Mercy of Jesus was either at that point, right? Or did you know?
I had no idea what Divine Mercy was. I didn't know what that was until I came into the Catholic Church. And then, luckily for me, this is, I guess, prayerfully for me, when they looked for me, St. Raphael was looking for me as spiritual director. They found Father Anthony Gramlich, the rector for the National Shrine of Divine Mercy, which was, from being former Baptist and then being a Satanist, and then I see Jesus standing there with these rays of light shooting out, hitting me everywhere. And then I find out that the place where people have a devotion to that image is where my spiritual director is. I'd never heard of Divine Mercy Jesus. I had no idea who that was. I mean, I knew he was Jesus, but, in the Baptist church, there's Jesus and there's not Jesus. So you can either be in love with Jesus, you got God the Father, and you got the Holy Spirit. You don't have 20 million devotions to each one. You have one devotion. And then you don't have any devotions and no reference to saints or the Blessed Mother or anything like that.
What advice would you give to someone to help strengthen their faith when they feel spiritually attacked or they're going through spiritual warfare?
I think one of the things to remember at that time, if Satan's attacking you, you're close to God because those are the people that he attacks. He wants you to not be close to God. If you're very prayerful and you've got however many devotions you have, even if you just have the rosary, which is the strongest prayer we have as the laity goes, the strongest prayer in the world is the Mass. So if you're praying your rosary faithfully every day, Satan doesn't want you to do that, and he'll attack you to make you stop. And the unfortunate thing is, if you stop praying your rosary, your satanic attack will stop. But if your satanic attack to stop, you're no longer close to God. It's not a good place to be. If my satanic attack ever stopped, I'd think, oh, I've done something wrong. I've stepped away from God. I need to get back. I need to go back to what I was doing because I need my attack to continue. I need to make sure I'm in the right side of this.
Yeah. We're running out of time, but I want to talk real quick about your ministry and the books that you wrote. The All Saints Ministry. How did you come to start that?
Yes. When I was starting, it was 2010, and I had worked with St. Raphael for a couple of years, And I thought it was time that I start my own ministry, and I wanted a cool name to go with it. Like, I took Saint Benedict as my confirmation name because I'm an extremist, and Saint Benedict was an extremist. And I had met Padre Pio, and that was a cool guy. And the Blessed Bartolo Longo, now he's Saint Bartolo Longo, and the Blessed Mother was awesome, but the Blessed Mother, Blessed Bartolo Longo, Padre Pio, Saint Benedict ministry doesn't roll off the tongue. And we're all about inclusion in this country and now around the world. And I was meeting new saints almost every day. And so I thought, All Saints ministry. Because not only do I have all the saints that are in heaven today, but whoever comes out of purgatory today and tomorrow, I get them too. And then all the people that are about to die that are going to heaven, I'll have them too. And all the people that are living healthy lives now, but won't be dead for 95 more years, I'll have them too. So All Saints Ministry was, I thought, the way to go. And so we started them. And I really, for the first, let me see, 2008, 9, 10, 11, for the first 4 years, I didn't charge because Father Joe Whalen doesn't charge. He gets a stipend. They just give him a donation, and he doesn't have an actual fee. So I went by that same token. I decided that I wouldn't charge for my talks. So in 4 years, how many talks do you think I got?
I don't know.
Now, these are Catholic churches.
Yeah.
These are churches where the priests have heard me. They've heard something about me, and everyone has the equal shot at booking me. And for 4 years, I was completely free. Take a wild guess.
It's either going to be a lot or a little.
Okay, so which one?
I'm going to go with you're just completely booked. You got so many people booking you.
It's kind of that same answer, but in the opposite direction.
Nobody booked you. Nobody reached out to you.
Nobody. The first time somebody booked me, it was because they had booked an exorcist to come speak, and he knew me. And he asked her, she was booking a spiritual warfare conference. And she said, do you know anybody else? And he says, have you heard of Zachary King? And she said, no. So he told her something about me, and she booked me, and she asked me what my stipend is. And I said, what are you paying Father Chris? And she said, $500. I was like, I'll take the same thing. And so when I took that blew me up. Then everybody was trying to book me. And then certain points in my life, I raised my rates. Like when I went international, I raised my rates. When I had a book come out, I raised my rates. And then at some point I was still on the low end, and I had somebody that booked me for a conference. And at that time I charged $800 for a 1-day conference. And she said, you're an awesome speaker and you demand a big crowd, and you can't, no self-respecting speaker can speak for less than $1,000. So then I got the $1,000, and then we changed the pay structure. So now it's $1,200 for 1 day, or $2,100 for 2 or 3 days, or anything above that is $700 a day. And it's hard to have free time. But I had another Catholic speaker tell me that the reason nobody booked me when I was free is because I didn't put a value on myself. So no one else did either. And then as soon as I put a value on myself, then everybody wanted me.
And what's the name of your website? Where can our listeners connect with you?
allsaintsministry.org.
And you can find the books there too that you've written?
I've written one. I've semi-written 2, but the other book's on the back burner right now.
Okay.
We've got too much stuff going on to finish it. My book is called Abortion is a Satanic Sacrifice. I have it in a double CD set, and I have it as a book. It gives you how we got abortion in the United States, what 10 companies or organizations that I work with to move Satan's agenda around the world, and then explain that abortion is spiritual warfare and that you can't defeat a spiritual enemy physically. You can't fight a spiritual enemy physically. So going to march in Washington, D.C., the March for Life,
Yeah.
well, you've got to march to show the world that abortion is unacceptable. But marching has never shut down an abortion mill. But I give 4 steps that are all spiritual warfare related, and I've shut down so far 265 abortion mills, mainly in the United States. And I explain how to do that.
That's amazing. Well, I appreciate your time. This was so fun to get to connect with you and to learn more about what you do and your
Sure.
conversion.
My pleasure. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you.